people left their apartments and went out to catch them all. And I mean, it was a great implementation of augmented reality. It was fantastic. You just had to hold your phone over an area.
Today I want to look into the concept of extended reality. Extended reality is basically an umbrella term that covers virtual reality and augmented reality. So if you're not familiar, I know most of us are familiar with virtual reality. And basically it's where you put on the glasses, or you immerse yourself in a virtual world and you interact with the different basically whatever that environment is providing you, right? There's usually virtual games, especially in the more advanced virtual gaming experience. It's not just glasses, but you go and maybe it's an arcade where they have the green screen and you interact. Maybe you're playing sports or you're fighting with swords. And then there's what they call augmented reality. That's where and usually it's like you have glasses and then you have like maybe usually it's a 3D image in the glasses, and the images are overlaying the real world, right? So you can still see the real world, but the augmented images are overlaying the real world in the glasses. So basically there's like, I guess, a little computer interaction in the glasses. So if you take them off, it's a real world. You put them on, you might have like a holographic image, right? I think my first because I'm just getting familiarized with augmented reality, I think my first grasp of it is probably that Pokemon game. Pokemon was a few years ago. Everyone was like running around trying to find Pokemon in the bushes using their phones. There's also the ability to use your phone in augmented reality now. That's actually not new. It's been around for a few years, I guess, but now augmented reality is getting more advanced. So is virtual reality. They're using it in so many things, in hospitals and construction. I think construction's a great place. I'm gonna discuss that more, even in healthcare, because you know what? Even maybe in auto repair or anything, right? You can get maybe a trial run, a real life trial run with things instead of having to. Well, sometimes you put things together and it doesn't always work right the first time around. So I think this especially works well, especially in the healthcare field, because things are more volatile and fragile when it comes to healthcare or the environment of the hospital or the doctor's office. I know that with augmented reality, it's basically they have like 12 trends coming up. Supposedly 12 trends for 2023. You have like the metaverse, and I didn't know, but now I think you're able to carry avatars, which it's kind of happening now, right? Snapchat, people wear things on their face. This can get there's always the downside of that, which is happening now with people being catfished. But yeah, people can wear avatars and maybe put things over their face, or maybe for another recreational perspective, right? Halloween comes around, people wear the costume, everybody puts on their glasses. You go to a Halloween party, everybody has the augmented reality glasses, so your costumes can be more elaborate maybe. I think in a way that would take away from the fun in some ways, because you always have to keep the glasses on in there, and then take them off, you got regular things on. I still appreciate that old school. Now I'm calling it old school. Hasn't really gone anywhere yet with that as far as costumes. But yeah, avatars. There's also spatial audio, where you have they add audio to the virtual reality experience or the extended reality experience, right? So you can hear sounds coming from different areas, from your back, from the front. I think they're adding that to augmented reality, and virtual reality. It may already be there. I have experienced that before, where they have you hear birds chirping and they're in all directions. So I think that'll be an interesting enhancement for augmented reality. Another aspect of augmented reality again is taking digital items into the real world. I think I've gone over that already. I guess with you have Pokemon, and you have basically 2D virtual objects. Also, you can carry these things. They say you'll be able to carry these things into your Instagram stories soon. Which is, I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between that and the Snapchat. I guess you'll be interacting with things. I guess you can make your own little personal cartoon. Basically your 15-second cartoon, I guess. I don't know. You pick different things to add to your Snapchat or Instagram video. I also like the idea of sports games. On a related note, I know they have devices. I haven't looked into this. I kind of looked into it. I'm going to look at it in another video, right? In regards to, they're using augmented reality to help people with anxiety. So, speaking of augmented reality and anxiety, what if people like to do things like, skydiving, mountain climbing, or, they parachute off a mountain, some people, just these really, really adrenaline rush activities, or they do the zip lining in a deep valley. And I also noticed that, or I also read up on devices now that can scan whole buildings. Okay, so what if you can take the scan of a building, or take the scan of, let's say, 20 square miles, right? You don't have to use any algorithms or any code to build a whole new virtual world, when you can actually shorten the development with scans, with virtual scans of places, buildings, under the ocean, caves, and just scan the entire thing, right? Send a drone or a helicopter or anything, any kind of maybe flying or probing device. You scan an area, and this creates like a virtual world. So in this augmented reality or virtual reality, basically, you could go cave exploring, you could go hiking, in the middle of, a national park somewhere, and you don't have to worry about truly getting lost. Let's say it's been scanned. It'd be really awesome. I'm just going all over the place now. If this was scanned and you could hike or visit these places in real time, but in a virtual sense, right? Let's say you're bored. You want to see what happens at night, right? 2 a.m. You're hiking at 2 a.m. in the middle of the woods. The scan's there, right? There's some type of transmitted image that has like a real-time scan. I don't want to say Google Maps or Google Earth, but something else. You got a real-time scan of maybe 50 square miles of some national park, and you're walking and you see deer, wolves, all kind of wildlife activity at night, right? Maybe you have some virtual night vision. I'm not talking like a game, I'm talking like real time. I know this is probably possible in the near future, you never know. Anyway, I could go on and on with that. Another look at augmented reality or virtual reality in combination with artificial intelligence to help come up with solutions, and maybe work with artificial intelligence software or the AI, and you guys or we discuss solutions to solve some problems. Maybe it's like repairing machines, or custom manufacturing machines, or custom or maybe just regular construction, or maybe logistics issues or things like that. There's also I could go into another topic with AI, but I did a video on AI already. You can check that out. And I want to also go into maybe the mobile augmented reality. I think we did that too. I only brought up Pokemon, but there's other things you can do, right? Maybe you can combine the mobile with the glasses. There's all kind of devices I see coming out. I wonder if, because sometimes we have devices and it's really hot for a month, and there's something else that comes out that makes that one device obsolete. Some things are obsolete that were used like 10, 15 years ago that we thought were the latest thing. Now it's off the top of my head. I can't think of it. But there are some things that we thought were going to be like the latest and greatest, and then they only lasted like a month because there may be 3 other technologies that kind of usurped it. So I'm going to take a look at a video or two. The first one is looking at virtual reality and augmented reality. I think it's augmented reality and anxiety therapy. I mentioned this earlier. I think it's a great idea, a great concept, because it kind of gives them a sense of safety while they're working on the anxiety and maybe working to help build confidence or get rid of anxiety. Let's check out the video.
Many of you probably remember the gigantic Pokemon Go hype from several years ago. I don't know how it was in your country, but in Germany it felt like that for the first time since years, some people left their apartments and went out to catch them all. And I mean, it was a great implementation of augmented reality. It was fantastic. You just had to hold your phone over an area and all of a sudden it seemed like that Pikachu or Bisasam is right in front of you, sitting on the table or on the shoulder of your friend or somewhere in the nature. And now some scientists came over and said, well, instead of looking at Pikachu, it might be much better to look at cockroaches or at spiders in augmented reality. And now you might say, what the hell? What is wrong with you scientists? But there is a serious thought behind that, because when it comes to people who are afraid of cockroaches or spiders, for example, we know from many studies that one of the best therapies is exposure therapy, in which people learn that when they expose themselves to the feared stimuli, like for example a spider, and if they might even be able to take the spider on their hand, after a while habituation kicks in. They get used to this stimulus and they realize that all their beliefs, all their catastrophic beliefs about the stimulus were in fact wrong.
Now, I don't mind the concept of habituation, but I think that can, depending, you probably want to be careful with habituation, because some things, yeah, you want to get rid of fear, but you also don't want to exactly create and I know that more people are more aware and have a better sense of what's dangerous and not, but there is a thing. I think there is some drawback to habituation, right? Because again, these are small things, but it could be wild animals, people getting erasing fear of certain poisonous animals. You shouldn't have the fear, but there should be a level of respect there. So I don't know, I would probably tread lightly on the idea of habituation, right? Getting rid of fear and anxiety, yes, but let's not get too much into a habituation to the sense where you lose your sense of judgment.
In vivo versus augmented reality exposure in the treatment of small animal phobia, a randomized controlled trial. So participants with anxiety of small animals, like for example spiders and cockroaches, were randomly assigned to two groups. The first group received an exposure therapy in real life, in which they learned to get closer and closer, for example, to a cockroach. And the therapist, of course, also modeled how to interact with this cockroach and, for example, showed how to take this cockroach on his hand. And of course, he also encouraged the participant to do so as well, in order to realize, well, I can take this cockroach on my hand and nothing evil happens. In the augmented reality group, the participants were wearing AR glasses, so they could see the normal world, like for example a real table in front of them. But through augmented reality, it was possible to show some cockroaches, for example. So imagine you are laying your hands on the table.
Okay, this is not a bad idea for therapy, for small animal therapy. I think it depends. Again, it depends, because there are things that are mistaken for being poisonous and non-poisonous, but I think that's not a bad idea. I was also thinking while looking at this, again, back to the whole scanning thing, what if you could also take a virtual trip inside a human body, right? Like you're in a, let's say, some type of hover device, some type of I won't say spaceship, but basically some type of ship, and you're basically taking a virtual tour inside the body. You enter the nose or the mouth, and you kind of travel throughout the body. I would thought that would be interesting. Maybe that's another. There are so many ideas I'm getting from sci-fi. It's crazy. I know there's gonna be like sooner or later the hologram. People can just basically experience their own. They can be a football star in their own virtual world. I guess that's where the metaverse thing comes in. But again, the drawbacks are, I think people can get addicted to the false world, and I still think we need to try to stay grounded in the real world. I mean, I think these things are great for helping solve problems from a myriad of fields and issues, solving a lot of problems, right? But at the same time, there should be a balance there, right? We should still be able to kind of live in the real world, eat, sleep, breathe in the real world, and I don't think we should be, but it's gonna happen. Some people are gonna be so addicted, and because it's an escape, right? If there's still stress going to work, then who knows? We'll probably go into work virtually. Then maybe we'll run to the real world for escape. That'll be interesting. But there's so many applications to this. I'm really excited to see what happens. I would, again, things I discussed exploring, I would love to explore that in relation to augmented reality and virtual reality. I don't have anxiety about the things I mentioned. I've gone hiking before, or swimming, or even diving at the bottom of the ocean, right? I'm thinking all these ideas that keep running through my head. I'm trying to think and talk at the same time, but I could go on and on. I'm not gonna talk you to death, but share your thoughts. I'd like to hear what you think, or any other ideas you have that this could apply to. And thank you for listening. I appreciate your time, and please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.